Welcome, Lovehasaname family. My name is Brother Brian, and I will be reading for you over the next 31 days, one chapter of Proverbs per day. Each video will contain 3 to 4 versions. It will include the Passion Translation, Amplified Version, New Living Translation, and at times I will read from the New King James Version. The purpose of this is for our spirits, our souls, to be saturated with the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge, and the insight that comes from God. The repetition will ensure that it gets deep into you. And if you choose to put the video on loop and listen while you drive, while you are at home, with headphones, while you exercise, while you are sleeping, or perhaps in your quiet time, you will allow the Word of God to soak into you, saturate you. This introduction that I have spoken to you will only be read one time in this video. And on all subsequent videos, we will get directly into the reading of Proverbs. Before we begin with Proverbs 1, let's read the introduction, the purpose of the Book of Proverbs. Within this divinely anointed compilation of Proverbs, there is a deep well of wisdom to reign in our lives and to succeed in our destiny. The wisdom that God has designed for us to receive will cause us to excel, to rise up as rulers, to be on earth for His glory. The kingdom of God is brought into the earth as we implement the godly wisdom of Proverbs. Although the book of Proverbs can be interpreted in its most literal and practical sense, the wisdom contained herein is not unlocked by a casual surface reading. The spirit of revelation has breathed upon every verse to embed a deeper meaning of practical insight to guide our steps into the lives God meant for us to live. Proverbs 1, the Passion Translation. Here are kingdom revelations, words to live by, and words of wisdom given to empower you to reign in life. Written as Proverbs by Israel's King Solomon, David's son. Within these sayings will be found the revelation of wisdom and the impartation of spiritual understanding. Use them as keys to unlock the treasures of true knowledge. Those who cling to these words will receive discipline to demonstrate wisdom in every relationship and to choose what is right and just and fair. These proverbs will give you great skill to teach the immature and make them wise, to give youth the understanding of their design and destiny. For the wise, these proverbs will make you even wiser, and for those with discernment, you will be able to acquire brilliant strategies for leadership. These kingdom revelations will break open your understanding to unveil the deeper meaning of parables, poetic riddles, and epigrams, and to unravel the words and enigmas of the wise. We cross the threshold of true knowledge when we live in obedient devotion to God. Stubborn know-it-alls will never stop doing this, for they scorn true wisdom and knowledge. Subheader: The wisdom of a father. Pay close attention, my child, to your father's wise words, and never forget your mother's instructions, for their insight will bring you success, adorning you with grace-filled thoughts, and giving you reins to guide your decisions. When peer pressure compels you to go with the crowd, and sinners invite you to join in, you must simply say no when the gang says, "We're going to steal and kill and get away with it. We'll take down the rich and rob them. We'll swallow them up alive and take what we want from whomever we want. Then we'll take their treasures and fill our homes with loot. So come and join us. Take your chance with us. We'll divide up all we get. We'll each end up with big bags of cash." My son, refuse to go with them and stay far away from them. For crime is their way of life, and bloodshed their specialty. To be aware of their snare is the best way of escape. They'll resort to murder to steal their victims' assets, but eventually it will be their own lives that are ambushed. In their ungodly disrespect for God, they bring destruction on their own lives. Subheader: Wisdom's warning. Wisdom's praises are sung in the streets and celebrated far and wide, yet wisdom's song is not always heard in the halls of higher learning, but in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Its lyrics can always be heard above the din of the crowd. You will hear wisdom's warning as she preaches courageously to those who stop to listen. "Foolish ones, how much longer will you cling to your deception? How much longer will you mock wisdom? You cynical scorners who fight the facts. Come back to your senses and be restored to reality. Don't even think about refusing my rebuke. Don't you know that I'm ready to pour out my spirit of wisdom upon you and bring to you the revelation of my words that will make your heart wise? I've called to you over and over. Still you refuse to come to me. I've pleaded with you again and again, yet you've turned a deaf ear to my voice. Because you have laughed at my counsel and have insisted on continuing in your stubbornness, I will laugh when your calamity comes, and will turn away from you at the time of your disaster. Make a joke of my advice, will you? Then I'll make a joke out of you. When the storm clouds of terror gather over your head, when dread and distress consume you, and your catastrophe comes like a hurricane, you will cry out to me, but I won't answer. Then it will be too late to expect my help. When desperation drives you to search for me, I will be nowhere to be found, because you have turned up your nose at me and closed your eyes to the facts and refused to worship me in awe, because you scoffed at my wise counsel and laughed at my correction. Now you will eat the bitter fruit of your own ways. You've made your own bed, now lie in it. So how do you like that? Like an idiot, you've turned away from me and chosen destruction instead. Your self-satisfied smugness will kill you, but the one who always listens to me will live undisturbed in a heavenly peace, free from fear, confident and courageous. That one will rest unafraid and sheltered from the storms of life. Proverbs chapter 1, Amplified Translation. The usefulness of Proverbs. The Proverbs, truths obscurely expressed, maxims of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. To know skillful and godly wisdom and instruction, to discern and comprehend the words of understanding and insight, to receive instruction in wise behavior and the discipline of wise thoughtfulness, righteousness, justice, and integrity, that prudence, good judgment, astute common sense may be given to the naive or inexperienced who are easily misled, and knowledge and discretion, intelligent discernment to the youth. The wise will hear and increase their learning, and the person of understanding will acquire wise counsel and the skill to steer his course wisely and lead others to the truth. to understand a proverb and a figure of speech, or an enigma with its interpretation, and the words of the wise and their riddles that require reflection. The reverent fear of the Lord, that is, worshiping him and regarding him as truly awesome, is the beginning and the preeminent part of knowledge, its starting point and its essence. But arrogant fools despise skillful and godly wisdom and instruction and self-discipline. Subheader: The enticement of sinners. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not reject the teaching of your mother, for they are a garland of grace on your head, and chains and ornaments of gold around your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, "Come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, the place of the dead, even whole as those who go down to the pit of death. We will find and take all kinds of precious possessions. We will fill our houses with spoil. Throw in your lot with us, they insist. We will all have one money bag in common. My son, do not walk on the road with them. Keep your foot far away from their path. For their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood. Indeed, it is useless to spread the baited net in the sight of any bird. But when these people set a trap for themselves, they lie in wait for their own blood. They set an ambush for their own lives and rush to their destruction. So are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. Greed takes away the lives of its possessors. Subheader: Wisdom warns. Wisdom shouts in the street. She raises her voice in the markets. She calls out at the head of the noisy streets where large crowds gather. At the entrance of the city gates, she speaks her words. How long, O naive ones, you who are easily misled, will you love being simple-minded and undiscerning? How long will scoffers, who ridicule and deride, delight in scoffing? How long will fools, who obstinately mock truth, hate knowledge? If you will turn and pay attention to my rebuke, behold, I, wisdom, will pour out my spirit on you. I will make my words known to you. Because I called, and you refused to answer. I stretched out my hand, and no one has paid attention to my offer. And you treated all my counsel as nothing, and would not accept my reprimand. I also will laugh at your disaster. I will mock when your dread and panic come. When your dread and panic come like a storm, and your disaster comes like a whirlwind. When anxiety and distress come upon you as retribution, then they will call upon me, wisdom, but I will not answer. They will seek me eagerly, but they will not find me. Because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, that is, obeying him with reverence and awe-filled respect. They would not accept my counsel, and they spurned all my rebuke. Therefore they shall eat of the fruit of their own wicked way, and be satiated with the penalty of their own devices. For the turning away of the naive will kill them, and the careless ease of self-righteous fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me, wisdom, will live securely and in confident trust, and will be at ease without fear or dread of evil. Proverbs 1, New Living Translation. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. The purpose of these Proverbs is to teach people wisdom and discipline, and to help them understand wise sayings. Through these Proverbs, people will receive instruction in discipline, good conduct, and doing what is right, just, and fair. These proverbs will make the simple-minded clever. They will give knowledge and purpose to young people. Let those who are wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. And let those who understand receive guidance by exploring the depth of meaning in these proverbs, parables, wise sayings, and riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Only fools despise wisdom and discipline. Subheader: A father's exhortation. Acquire wisdom. Listen, my child, to what your father teaches you. Don't neglect your mother's teaching. What you learn from them will crown you with grace and clothe you with honor. My child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, "Come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive as the grave swallows its victims." Though they are in the prime of life, they will go down into the pit of death, and the loot we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all kinds of things. Come on, throw in your lot with us. We'll split our loot with you. Don't go along with them, my child. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit crimes. They hurry to commit murder. When a bird sees a trap being set, it stays away. But not these people. They set an ambush for themselves. They booby-trap their own lives. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for gain. It ends up robbing them of life. Subheader: Wisdom shouts in the streets. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls out to the crowd along the main street and to those in front of City Hall. "You simpletons," she cries, "how long will you go on being simple-minded? How long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools fight the facts? Come here and listen to me. I'll pour out the spirit of wisdom upon you and make you wise. I called you so often, but you didn't come. I reached out to you, but you paid no attention. You ignored my advice and rejected the correction I offered. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock you when disaster overtakes you, when calamity overcomes you like a storm, when you are engulfed by trouble, and when anguish and distress overwhelm you. I will not answer when you cry for help. Even though they anxiously search for me, they will not find me, for they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They rejected my advice and paid no attention when I corrected them. That is why they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way. They must experience the full terror of the path they have chosen, for they are simpletons who turn away from me to death. They are fools, and their own complacency will destroy them. But all who listen to me will live in peace and safety, unafraid.